Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Flying solo as of the moment. We are live on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Rumble. I see the chat's already filling up. Jacob may be joining us shortly. We'll see if that works out or not. I'm going to have to pace myself. We'll talk about it in a minute, but really excited to dive into all the family night festivities. Looked like it was an absolute blast up there for those who did attend. Hopefully you made it home safe. Seemed like it was a really cool atmosphere, cool environment. So here's what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to do a full family night recap. All right. We're going to talk about how the defense seemed to dominate. At least that's most of the headlines that I have read. We'll dive into Jordan Love's day and kind of give you some specific statistics there to the best of my knowledge. And as always, we'll have the chat kind of sort through that and see if we've got anything incorrect, kind of fact check us on the fly. We'll have injury updates, who participated, who didn't. We'll talk about how the lineup notes changed a bit. We'll talk about the full practice highlights, like individual plays. Hey, this happened, that happened, this happened, give you a full breakdown there. And then we're going to do an Omar Brown deep dive, as obviously he stole the show last night. So we got all that on tap. We're going to do a giveaway, giving away the autographed Luke Musgrave card as well. So if this is your first time here, need y'all to do that YouTube stuff for me. If you're just here in general, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit that like, hit subscribe. If it is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. Listen, we're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. What we are fans just like you in here talking Packers on the daily. We usually got a full house, anywhere from 3 to 4 guys in here just talking ball, sometimes ladies. And we break down everything, pregame shows, postgame shows. We'll do, film breakdown. We'll do in-depth look at PFF grades and how the analytics are stacking up for the Packers throughout the season. So we got you covered on the daily. Just hit that subscribe button. If you like daily Packers content, make sure you click that bell icon so you get notified every time we do go live. And again, appreciate everybody jumping in the chat, man. It looks like it is a full house in here. Love what Chris Sand says. Let me see if I can find that. It's worth slowing down the progress here for just a second. As Chris the Casuin says,
Built to ass, BTA.
That's right. It's built to ass. PTA is actually what he said. Which we're going to pretend like he did, right? So good to see everybody. Thank you all so much. Let's dive into it, guys. We got a lot to cover. All right, family night takeaways. You guys know how I like to approach this. I go through and read everybody's article. I like to look at Bill Huber's stuff. I love Paul Brettle's stuff. Jason Wilde does an excellent job, kind of give you a little bit deeper dive into the story behind the game typically. So what I like to do is throw into the database a bunch of different people that I trust that's reporting on the team, and then let it spit out. Here's the recap. The reason I do that, it removes my personal opinion. I'll give my opinion on what spits out of this thing, right? But I don't like to try to bend the narrative. Well, here's what Clayton thinks, therefore that's what happened. I like to try to get multiple takes and then give you my opinion as we go along, if that makes sense. So let's just dive into it. It sounds like the defense performed better than the offense last night. Let's look into everything here. And if you're going Clayton, did you not watch it? I got up and watched the highlights today. Obviously, I was at Bristol Motor Speedway yesterday. Man, did it rain? It rained. We were at the Speedway probably 5-6 hours, and it got rain delayed a couple of different times. And I'm just telling you right now, you get a bunch of people. I think there said 8 or 9 different countries was represented. We broke the regular season Major League Baseball attendance record. I think it capped out at 91,000 is what we hit at. You get a rainstorm roll through and you think, all right, everybody seek shelter. No, it's just, everybody, not everybody. The guys' shirts came off. It just turned into basically a redneck version of Woodstock, and it was just all day festivities. So I ain't going to lie, man. I wanted to do an early stream today, about 12, 1 o'clock. I wanted to dive into that and kind of, hey, let's do the Omar Brown breakdown first, and then we'll hit, all the updates. I couldn't do it. I needed time to recover. So again, I apologize, but here we go. Defensive performance summary. All right. Defense dominated, described as, quote, animate, and adamant. by the article. I think that might have been Bill Huber's article that he referred to that by. Safety Xavier McKinney noted the team played great, focused on details, played fast, and ran to the ball, though they could improve on turnovers. Obviously, that's Xavier McKinney. There's always something to work on, right? And you can tell that Jeff Hafley's approach with this defense, it has been since day one, is see ball, get ball. Go take the ball away. Go attack the football. And it really does line up perfectly with what Matt LaFleur has said ever since he got to Green Bay, which is you win the ball, you win the game, right? And that's what we're talking about, controlling the possession. Make sure you protect the football when you got it, which we did a pretty piss poor job of last year and still had a decent season, right? If you can improve on the offensive side of the ball, protecting the football and continue to take it away. And they're not resting on their laurels, right? You can tell that they're truly going to attack the football from a punch out standpoint this year. And I'm sure they've still got focus on trying to intercept the passes as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but I love that Xavier McKinney setting the tone. Hey, look, it's never good enough, right? Offense scored only one touchdown all night. It was the final play, Taylor Elgersma, 23-yard touchdown pass to Will Sheppard. So we got a Will Sheppard sighting there. Interceptions, Omar Brown with 3, Carrington Valentine with 1, Kalen King with 1. We've actually got that Kalen King interception, I believe, and I'm going to try to stay on topic. And this is where I usually ask the guys to say something smart, but I think it's right here. Nope, not that one. Let me get it on. Let me get geared up here. I think it was Wes Hodkiewicz had this tweet. So this was the Kalen King interception, I believe. And again, I apologize if the picture isn't clear enough. But the way he jumps this route, man, watch Kalen King here. A little RPR probably there. Look at Kalen King jump the route. Hopefully that's not too choppy for you guys. It's actually choppy on my end, which means it's probably blurring out as he was recording it. But shout out to Wes Hodkiewicz for getting us that footage. And Kalen King, guys, is that not what we want to see from Kalen King? You know, we talked about how he was a prospect that was highly touted the year before he came out for the draft. And for whatever reason, you know, his draft stock sank pretty much out of sight his final year in college, where he was projected to be a first-round pick at the end of his next to last season in college. So you like to see this. You see the ball skills there, the ball hawking ability. He just kind of reads, reacts, dive bombs on the ball, and a nice little return there at the end as well. And I want to say this about Malik here. This is just, you're getting to that read way too late. You know, that's that, you know, and Jordan's been as guilty of that as anyone in the past, right? Not to pile on too hard, but we talked about it all year last year. It was all over the tape, even though I feel like Jordan had a good year last year. Hearing some people, you would think that he was the worst quarterback in the league, but getting to that read way too late. You cannot throw that pass. I mean, when he puts his eyes on that receiver, he doesn't even know if he's open. You know, now if you read the defense out correctly, you would think, all right, yeah, he's going to be open, or nope, he ain't open, depending on what the safety does, what the corner does, the splits, the depth, all that. But yeah, you got to get to that read way earlier, or just throw the ball away. But nonetheless, Kalen King, that's what we're wanting to see out of him, obviously. So really, really excited to see if he continues to take a step forward as the season moves along here. So again, keep your eye on Kalen King in that regard. All right, up next. So again, 5 interceptions on the night, it looks like here, according to the article breakdown. Coach Matt LaFleur treated it like a preseason game with, quote, vanilla schemes, not concerned about offensive struggles, emphasizing competition and making plays. And here's the thing, when you hear the term vanilla, and I know everybody in the chat knows this, in case someone doesn't, you know, if you're new here or you haven't watched a whole lot of football and you're wanting to dive into it a little bit different level, when you hear the term vanilla, what it means is you're just showing the same type of stuff over and over and over again. Very basic defense. You know, sometimes they'll play a vanilla 2-man under, right? Well, how do you get a team out of 2-man under, which is basically man coverage with 2 safeties up top? You run the ball down their damn throat, right? Well, they're not just going to, okay, Jeff Hafley's in 2-man under again. Let's run the rock every single play. They're going to try to work on stuff. They're going to try to push the envelope a little bit. It seemed like Jordan Love threw the ball down the field quite a bit more. And when a defense plays vanilla, the way you beat a vanilla defense is you run the rock and you take what they give you underneath, right? Rather than just throwing into coverage. So that's what I think Matt LaFleur means by, hey, look, we're not concerned about this. We're showing vanilla looks. And the reason you're showing vanilla looks is you do not want opponents to pick up on what you're doing, right? And that's absolutely huge. So, but anyway, that's just kind of a quick overview. The defense seemed to dominate so to speak, with family night. Now, let's move it along to Jordan Love's day. Okay. Completed 17 of 25 passes. Number one offense, did not score a touchdown, right? So you'd see that and go, oh, no, offense is in trouble. Trust me, guys. Playing a vanilla defense, a very safe defense, and you not wanting to put a whole lot out on tape. Family night is it's exactly what it sounds like. Look at the kids in this picture, right? You got the kids, the family. This kid right here cracks me up. He looks like he hit the jackpot. I don't know if those are posters or what, but he's like, let me just get out of here with this extra memorabilia. But you see the kids all around, the family and everything, right? Listen, family night is about let's get the players out on the field and let our fans come into the stadium, which what a great turnout. Was it like over 50,000 people or something crazy? I believe was the number. If anybody knows the exact number, throw it in the chat for everybody. But it's just, hey, let's get the guys out there on the grass. Let's throw the ball around. Let's kick some field goals. Let's do a few Lambeau leaps after we throw some net shots. This isn't about, hey, let's go out there and show them how dominant we are, right? And it's about, having the players come out with their family. You've seen Tucker Kraft with his newborn, right? And all that. It's just kind of, hey, it's just a celebration. It's like a family reunion. Let's kick the football season off. So don't read too much into these numbers, right? And Chris Casuan, thank you, buddy. He says 59,000. Heck, yes, plus. Looks like plus. Yeah, Ed Madden got the number too. Thank y'all so much. So again, 17 to 25, number one offense, didn't score a touchdown. He started 5 of 5, including a 3rd and 6 conversion to tight end Luke Musgrave. In a goal line period, needing 2 first downs, he completed 3 of 4 passes with 2 to Musgrave for the first down. So, obviously Tucker Kraft he sat out this practice. I think he tweaked a groin. We'll get to the injury report here in a little bit. But Musgrave, that's what you want to see, right? And you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but it sounds like Musgrave is having a pretty darn good camp. And I don't feel like that was the case last year or even the year before. I'm trying to think how many. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, so he's been in the league for 2 full years now. To me, it feels like he's kind of taking a step. Now, again, it's camp. It's mostly running routes in your underwear with no contact, right? We just talked about this is a family reunion out there for the football team. So, but still, Luke Musgrave, what I want to see here in the preseason, if he plays, however little bit he does play in the preseason, I want him to show that he's healthy. And I want him to I just want him to seem more, not necessarily productive, just more confident, because to me, he seems like he's been a player in the past that's somewhat played. I don't want to say skittish because, my God, the guy finished the game with internal bleeding, right? When he had a lacerated kidney or something crazy. So it's not like he's not tough, but it just seems like he plays trying not to make a mistake as opposed to just using that freakish athletic ability that he has and just going out there and playing the way that you have your whole life. But I'm excited to see what Luke Musgrave does the remainder of camp here. So in a goal line period, needing 2 first downs, they completed the 3 or 4 passes, 2 to Musgrave for the first downs, like we said. Now, in the 2-minute drill, starting at the 25-yard line with 2 minutes left and 1 timeout, completion to Musgrave, there he is again. Then a deep pass to Matthew Golden was intercepted by Carrington Valentine. I think we've got that video we will show here in just a little bit. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, we'll come back to that. But nonetheless, it ended up being intercepted by Carrington Valentine. Again, Carrington having a pretty darn good camp too. We talked about the interceptions there earlier. He's got multiple. I think he's just second behind Omar Brown now, I believe, in terms of interceptions, or maybe Omar Brown is just behind him. But having a really, really good camp so far. Mulligan series against backups, all right, starting at the 35 with 134 left. Completions to Golden for 10 yards. Malik Heath got 6 yards on a 3rd and 7. Then Heath, 9 yards for the first down. Romeo Dobbs, 18 yards. Then an 8-yard pass to Matthew Golden, setting up a 29-yard field goal by Brandon McManus. You're seeing Golden's name continuously pop up, right? Really, really excited about that. The play of the day, matter of fact, let's do this. Since it's the scramble play, let's go ahead and show the scramble play, and then we'll get to the Lambeau leap. So many people have been talking about this scramble play by Jordan Love, right? And let's just take a look at it ourselves. Shout out to Matt Schneiden, who got us the video here and posted it on X. I want to make sure we're giving credit for everybody who's got these videos. So let's see Jordan Love move here. Remember the injury last year, and hopefully this isn't too choppy. Let's watch him here. He drops back, quick set, up, out the pocket. That's what you want to see Jordan doing right there, right? That, to me, Jordan looks healthy, gang. And that's really, really exciting because that's an aspect of his game last year that we just didn't have. And in 2023, not only is it nice to see him get the rushing touchdowns and see him pick up the first downs on the ground and all those things, but also some of those late season games where he just absolutely dominated. If you guys remember, he was, I mean, the last 8-9 games of the season, he was the best quarterback in the entire National Football League. If that was over a 3-week span, I'd just go, guys, 3 weeks. If it was 5 weeks, I may be a little more hesitant. You're talking about 8 or 9 games. It's huge. But why did he have so much success? Yes, it was throwing the football. But when you go through the first half of the season, putting this type of stuff on tape where, hey, look, I can beat you with my legs. If you do this, I'm going to do that and find the soft spot in the defense. Now, all of a sudden, what happens? The passing game opens up. And you don't necessarily scramble to get big run plays like this. You scramble to create secondary throwing windows so you can get the big chunk plays down the field. So I'm excited. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Jordan Love, he looks as quick as he did in 2023. It doesn't seem like the injuries, are having any problems whatsoever with him being mobile in the pocket. We've seen his footwork all camp. We've shown footage of that at training camp over there at Ray Nitschke Field. But yeah, this looks good to me, man. Yeah, he has good legs this year. Greg Rice says, completely agree, man. Completely agree. So there was the scramble play that folks were talking about, right? And then we got, I thought this was cool too. And listen, I understand the net drills. Listen, when you hit them, it's not like it's, wow, can you believe he hit that? And also it's not when he missed them, I don't look at it like, oh crap, we're in trouble, right? I just don't see it that way personally, but let's roll the tape here and you'll see it's the net, and love that all the QBs said, let's go get us a Lambeau Leap here. This is what Family Night's about, man. And I got to be honest, man, it's nice to see Jordan be able to get up on that wall. That's not an easy jump. If you've ever stayed, Malik Willis, a little short, he said, I don't know if I should do this or not. But look at the camaraderie in the quarterback room, man. How cool is this, guys? And again, this was the Packers that tweeted this video out. How cool is this right here? This is what you want to see in preseason, right? This is what you want to see at Family Night. You want to see the guys having a good time, putting on a show for the fans, and just building that camaraderie, right? Because the reality is that camaraderie, I know some fans roll their eyes, I want stats, I want sacks, I want touchdowns. Guys, when you're getting your ass kicked and you're bloodied and it's the fourth quarter and you're down by a couple scores and you got to find the guts, you got to find the strength, you got to find the stamina to go back and steal a win, still turn a loss into a win, steal a victory away from the opponent. It's stuff like this that makes you look, to your left and your right and go, man, I'm going to go out here and perform for this dude next to me. It's cool to see this quarterback room so close like this. And to me, it's a testament to Jordan Love's leadership. The same way that I feel like Aaron passed that on to him. Obviously, it was a little bit different story with Brett to Aaron. That was a whole saga that we don't want to go down. But, Aaron took Jordan under his wing. That's Jordan's words, not mine. He treated him so good. And now you see Jordan doing the same thing with the Malik Willis, with the Taylor Elgersma, with the Sean Clifford. It's just, I don't know, man. This stuff right here is what matters to me. So, Chris pointing out, wow, Caleb Williams throwing a hissy fit. Yeah, if you guys didn't see that video, go check it out. I actually retweeted it out, and then Ryan over there at Pack_Daddy tweeted several videos out too. Caleb Williams, boy, oh boy, missing the net 4 straight throws and then throwing a little temper tantrum on the practice field. It's just, that's the stuff I would be worried about, guys. If Jordan Love had his head down and was all, ticked off because he missed a net in training camp or at a Family Night, I would be concerned then. I'd be like, hold up, man, his head don't seem like it's in the right space. You just constantly see that from Caleb, and people will defend him and go, oh, no, it ain't a big deal. You're blowing out of proportion. Guys, it's happened everywhere he's gone. Like you've seen in USC when they lost that final game of the season there, rather than go, hey, I need to go pick my teammates up, he literally goes into the stands, climbs into his mama's arms and cries. And they had to cover his face up so the camera didn't see him crying. You know what I mean? Like how many times we showed you guys over the course of his rookie season last year where things wouldn't go his way and this is what you seen on the sideline. Or the famous shot of him laying flat on his back and his teammates like trying to help him up. And he's like, you could just tell us, no, let me lay here for a minute. I want everyone to see that I am visibly upset, over emotional. He's got all the talent in the world, but it doesn't matter when Bears still suck. You know what I'm saying? So listen, he could put it together in all honesty, but you got to fix that attitude thing. And this is what you're looking for. Jordan Love is never too high, never too low. I've got a lot of faith in what QB1 is going to do this year for sure. So really excited about that. Let's get back to the Jordan Love breakdown here. Make sure we didn't miss anything. We talked about the 29-yard field goal. Got it. All right. Not a specific play from Saturday, but highlighted his scramble over 15 yards. We talked about that. That video we already showed you. Context: Love ranks 23rd among quarterbacks with 75 rushes in 2 starting seasons, encouraged to run more due to the athleticism. So the coaches are even telling him, hey, J Love, let's get out there and scramble a little bit more. Offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich answered that question with absolutely. Love should run more, as it's a huge weapon for easy yards with low risk via sliding, meaning if you get your butt down on the ground, there's no risk whatsoever, right? If you try to extend a play, make something happen, you may throw late across the middle and throw an interception, right? If the point is, if it's a second and 10 play, you drop back the pass, you get to your third read, nobody's open, and you see 6 yards open, down the field, pick up that 6 and let's play to 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 8, whatever it is, right? 3rd and 4. That's manageable. But you just didn't see that much last year because I think he was playing on a flat tire. He was playing with some injuries. So I'm excited to see him getting back to that. All right. So there is the Jordan Love breakdown. Now let's move it along. And listen, I'm going to briefly mention this because we're going to come back to Omar Brown at the end of the show. I'm really excited about diving into that. But the player of the day was Omar Brown. Full breakdown on him coming up. We'll do a separate segment there. Just wanted to mention it really quick. Now, injury updates. Let's get to the injury updates. And the reason I picked this picture, you see Tucker right here. He's in street clothes, and that's what I was talking about. He and his wife, I believe they're married, and their little one, their newborn. And this was really cool to see the family, the players bring their families out, right? I love watching these type of videos for family night. I know Jacob was big tough guy, right? He I could tell he gets a little bit emotional with stuff like this. Man, it matters. Again, this is about building that team camaraderie. And you see all the names that when I see those jersey numbers, I see those names, I see, all the different players. I don't just see different people. I see different backgrounds. I see different, some people were raised dirt poor. Others might have had, had it a little bit easier. And you got this just melting pot of players, of people coming together and trying to accomplish one common goal. It's just huge. So with the injury report, new injuries, it says Savion Williams was unknown. I want to say he was out there for a bit. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I've read multiple reports, and they seemed a little bit conflicting, but I could have just been a little blurry from last night. But Savion Williams, I thought he practiced to a certain extent. And then, of course, it says it was a new injury listed, so maybe he did get a little banged up or tweak something out there. Now, tight end Tucker Kraft, that was a new injury going in. He has tweaked his groin, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Thank you so much. Coach Lynn said Savion was out there, so appreciate that, Coach. So there must have been something. Yeah, had practice catches, says Greg Rice. I think he had some catches, and I want to say in the report, it might have been Bill Huber that reported it, that he might have left a little later. Or maybe that's part of the whole concussion thing too. Hey, let's keep him out of certain things. Who knows? But nonetheless, those are the two mentioned. I think Tucker's going to be fine. We are noticing, though, am I the only one that's noticing that groins are starting to pop up a little bit this year? Like that injury just seems like it's a little heavy this year. So I guarantee you, if a dumb redneck like me is noticing, wow, we got like 4 or 5 different people with groin injuries so far in camp, the coaching staff is relaying to the medical staff, like, hey, let's try to get to the bottom of this. Let's try to get this fixed, right? It reminds you of the hammies for so many years. And then for whatever reason last year, everybody tore their pec, right? There was like 3 different, the head coach, Tucker Kraft, Zach Tom, everybody tore their pec bench pressing, right? So, there you go, Chris. I completely agree. It says 2025 groins or the 2024 hamstrings. So true, man. So true. So there you go. Coach Lynn confirms Savion Williams is on a pitch count. That makes a lot of sense. Greg Rice says, no, Savion did scrimmage. He had one where Love threw to him for like 20 yards. So he was out there. That's the whole point there, right? So I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about. Now, the old injuries, Christian Watson with the knee, Dontavion Wicks with the calf, so he wasn't out there. Wide receiver Sam Brown with an ankle. cornerback Nate Hobbs with the knee, running back Emmanuel Wilson with the knee injury, running back Marshawn Lloyd with the groin. There's a groin. Cornerback Kamal Haddon with the hip, linebacker Colin Oliver with a hamstring, defensive end Aaron Mosby with the groin, left tackle Rasheed Walker with the groin, offensive lineman John Williams with the back, and then guard/tackle Mr. Emilio Travis Glover with the shoulder. So returning from injuries, we didn't get anybody back that we did not see practice earlier in the week. So nothing changed there on that front, but I think that's by design. Hey, let's try to get everybody healthy and get geared up for this next week of work in training camp. I think it's going to be huge. Now, details. Kraft missed all the practice, dealing with the groin for a few days, rested to calm it down. So nothing, I think we're good there. Williams missed the final periods, missed earlier camp with concussion, no further info. So there you go. That sounds like, I think that was Bill Huber, I believe, his portion of an article that it grabbed here and mentioned that. So there you go. There's just a quick little injury update on, it seems like they're playing it a little bit safe. And again, it was a glorified practice is what it was last night. Nonetheless, it's just fun to see the guys get out there in the green and gold and out there on Lambeau Field for sure. King Tron with the super chat. Thank you so much, Tron. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, delayed $5 for 5K. Can't express how much I appreciate y'all and the amazing Packers environment you foster. I truly wish y'all the moon and appreciate you. Hey, Tron, thank you so much, buddy. Listen, and it's not just because you sent a super chat. Thank you for the kind words. Although we appreciate that support as well. It's been fun, man. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but had a little bit of an interaction on X yesterday with Jen Latta of ESPN Milwaukee. Now, listen, I want to be 100% transparent. If you guys see my tweet, and I told her this, we exchanged some messages back and forth. That wasn't a shot at her. She's doing her job, right? And if you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, I won't go too in depth. But it's just, I pointed out how ESPN Wisconsin, really in general, not just ESPN Milwaukee, is just so negative. It just seems like everything's negative, 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 negative. And I just listed it out. And, I will tell you this. Jen Latta is an absolute professional. Notice I didn't mention anything she did in those tweets, right? And now she's covering the Brett Favre fallout with the Packers right before training camp. Well, I'm sure that wasn't something that she said, I want to cover this. It's probably a project put together for her. But nonetheless, I'll just say this about Jen. She stand up and she appreciates the feedback. I'll leave it at that. And I love that when someone's willing to go, all right, man, we'll look into this. No problem. I'll do my best to look into it. So I probably got a little hot-headed, but man, when I seen that come across, I'm like, what bothered me, and again, this isn't a shot at her. It's training camp. It's literally on the eve of family night. Optimism is at an all-time high for us Packer fans. We're so fired up for the season. And then when you tune in to a specific station, and listen, it's actually multiple channels, both Milwaukee and Madison, and predominantly you just hear negative, 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 negative. It's like, and then it's, hey, look, here is the most divisive, how do I say it? The most divisive event, I believe, in Packers history, to be honest with you. Like the Brett Favre fallout and how it embarrassed me as a Packer fan to see how some Packer fans turned on the organization over one player. Whether you think Brett was wrong or not, you're right to that opinion. But it's just, you know what it reminds me of? I'll be honest with you. It reminds me of the Civil War, right? I'm a big history nerd, but I don't like to dive into the Civil War because it's just like it was family harming family. It was a nation divided. Like, why don't we focus on what we've got in common and let's work through our differences and make, come out the other side, making things better, right? That's a very, very extreme comparison. Don't get me wrong. But that whole Brett Favre thing, it just split the fan base, right? Or at least took a third of the fan base away. And when you hear people bragging on the radio about, well, they supported Brett Favre and the Jets when that happened. And then you got another guy who's a host of a show on Milwaukee, ESPN Milwaukee, showing up the Packers training camp and putting Matt LaFleur in an awkward place and trying to get him to sign an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey and walking through the stands of the practice field and just to try to get a ruse out of the fans wearing an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. And we got to listen to you on the radio every damn day. Like at some point, we as fans need to step up and go, look, dude, we're not doing this. Like it's obvious what you guys are doing. On another show earlier, they said Brian Gutekunst is not serious about winning a Super Bowl because he's not bringing Jair Alexander back. Listen, I wanted Ja back for $6 million. I think it would be a good decision. Now, he didn't go that route, but why would you go on the radio waves and this guy, Brian Gutekunst, who could potentially lose his job in a year or two with Ed Policy taking over now, right? Why would he? What you're saying is he doesn't care about his job. He doesn't want to win. He's just going to do things the way he wants to do. Now, if you say you disagree with how he thinks he can get there, that's a totally different ball game, right? But anyway, I didn't expect to talk about it. I actually told the guys, hey, if you're on the show or not, let's don't mention the whole ESPN Milwaukee thing because people don't want to hear that stuff, right? We want to hear updates on the team, but here I am. I screwed this one up. But again, I just want to, the one that sent me over the edge was when the producer called Romeo Doubs a coward. That's when I was like, okay, man, I can't. Like, you know darn well you wouldn't say it to Romeo Doubs' face. You know, a dude who grew up really, really rough in a rough part of California, and he's probably seen the worst of the worst, and he's got this opportunity where he's trying to make the best of it. And then you're sitting behind a microphone, out of shape, breathing heavy into the microphone because you probably couldn't walk a mile, much less run one, right? And you're going to say that Romeo Doubs is a coward. Like that sent me over the edge. I'm like, my God. And then bending stats and trying to tweak things just right to make the pass rush sound worse than it is. And then when you present the facts, present the statistics, present how the defense took a huge step forward, and then you try to take that and it turns into, well, if you remove their best 3 or 4 games, they actually were bad. It's just get away from me, man. Again, why are we talking about it? You do know that your listeners are Packer fans, right? Who wants to listen to that? That'd be like, you love your family, right? We all love the Packers, right? We love our family. What Vince Lombardi say, God, family, and the Green Bay Packers, right? We all love our family here. Some people are going, I don't know, man, I got a weird uncle. I don't love my family. But we love our family. That would literally be like, man, I want to walk down memory lane and remember, what it was like with my, how great my family is and our most fondest moments, right? Of spending time together. And somebody comes in and goes, yeah, I'll put that together for you. Let me show you every bad situation that you experience with your family. How does that make sense? Why do they think Packer fans want to listen to that? And again, if it was 1 thing, 2 things, even 3 things, I was turning my head back then. When it got to the point where I listed off like 6 or 7 things that's happened recently, I'm like, y'all are like, it's obvious what you're trying to do here. And you got other hosts that they say it 3 times a day on their show. I'm not a Packer fan. I just cover the Packer. Okay, that's great. You don't have to keep saying that. Every time you say I'm not a Packer fan, it's like you're backhanding the Packer fans. Who are your audience? I just don't get it. So anyway, I'm always going to approach covering the Packers like I want to focus on the positive as much as possible because there's way more positive than negative. Now, listen, when something happens, you got what happened, why did it happen? That's our motto, especially after in post-game shows and film breakdown. If a team loses, we're going to show you why they lost. And we're not going to harp on it and call for people's jobs and say that guy's a bum and a coward or whatever. It's just silly. But that's how we're always going to approach it, is to try to put a little bit positive spin on it, like because people don't want to be depressed. Like when I tune into sports talk, I try to do everything on the show how I want sports talk that I listen to be. And when I tune into a show, I don't pop the earbuds in on the grind at work and go, all right, let's get depressed and let's focus on every negative thing about this team. It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, end of rant. Let's move on to practice highlights. So there's a lot here. I love it when it breaks it down, when AI will grab stuff and just break it down into individual plays, right? And kind of give you, all right, here's a specific look at what happens. So here are the practice highlights. One-on-ones highlight was Malik Willis' long touchdown pass to Malik Heath, who overpowered cornerback Micah Robinson. And we got a video there. I believe I've got it queued up here. So let's go to this real quick. We're going to talk a little bit about Malik Heath because you guys know I've been much higher on him than I think most people have, right? And this play here, I think this is it, actually. Let's mute that. So this is the play to Malik Heath. Oh, did it? No, it took me to the website. Hold on just a second here. Let's see if we can get this thing to trigger up. All right, here we go. So you see Malik Heath, no pass rush. Listen, this is just a one-on-one right here. But look at Malik Heath there. Watch the hands. Look at the strong hands, guys. And listen, Micah Robinson, to me, that ain't a huge negative mark there. It's definitely not a positive, but Micah Robinson plays this pretty darn good. I mean, look, he's all over the coverage, right? He's fighting through the hands, but this is what Malik Heath does. This is why I said going into training camp that I would keep Malik Heath over Bo Melton. And I love Bo Melton. Bo Melton is a team guy, special teams contributor, huge special teams contributor, faster 40 time than Christian Watson. He's got a lot to work with there. But Malik Heath, it just seems like he always makes the most out of his opportunities, and he doesn't have that many opportunities. But is this catch, am I wrong in the chat here, guys? This catch right here is just like, this is phenomenal. This is, you can tell, I mean, look at him holding the ball too. Like his hands look huge. He just seems like he's really coming into his own here. That's a hell of a catch out there. Heck of a catch, man. So Malik Heath, I wanted to show that highlight, and let's get back to the article because I want to point out what I've been talking about. When you look at the statistics from last year with Malik Heath, here on this image here, if you guys can see it, hopefully you can see it good enough. Notice the catch rate over expected, okay? And we've explained what catch rate over expected is. Listen, you guys can go look up the actual definition. It's essentially, these are the guys, it takes into account the situation they're put in as opposed to just blanket statistics, right? His catch rate over expected was plus 9.7%. Next is Christian Watson at a plus 5.2%. Then Romeo Doubs plus 2.9%. Jayden Reed 1.2%. Bo Melton was a negative 6.9%. And there you see Dontavion Wicks. We talk about how he struggled last year. His catch percentage was a 51.3%. His catch rate over expected a minus 12.4%. But go back to Malik Heath for a second. Look at his catch percentage. He led the entire receiving room in catch percentage at 76.9%, okay? And his catch rate over expected at a 9.7% in the positive. Now, his yards per reception, nowhere near Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jayden Reed, Bo Melton, he was closer to Bo Melton and Dontavion Wicks, obviously at a 9.7 there. They were at 11.4, 10.6. Christian Watson was second in the entire National Football League at 21.4 yards per reception. I think Alec Pierce he led the league in that, with the Indianapolis Colts. So the yards per reception, what that tells me is notice how it's, it's much lower. That's kind of a boundary X guy. And what did you see just now in that catch? That's what you want a boundary X guy to do. You want him to be able to play in a phone booth. And what that means is whether it's creating slight separation and making a contested catch underneath, or in a phone booth down the sideline when you have to hit, when they're in a two-man under and you want to try to throw what would be a hole shot in a cover two zone defense, but it's two-man under. You want a guy who can play that ball in tight coverage. Malik Heath, to me, should make this roster. And not only should he make the roster, he should be given more opportunities. Now, I say that and look at the names in the room. Now, Christian Watson starting on the pup. Do I think Malik Heath should get more targets than Romeo Doubs? Absolutely not. Jayden Reed? Absolutely not. Bo Melton? Yes. Of course, Bo Melton's probably going to just play corner now. Dontavion Wicks? It's tough for me to say this because Dontavion Wicks is really good at creating separation. But, Malik Heath only got 13 targets, right? Dontavion Wicks got 76 targets. Imagine if we had taken 20 of those targets and gave it to Malik Heath and got him up to 33. Don't you think with the catch rate over expected, if he continued at that rate or even dropped slightly and put him on par with a Christian Watson or a Romeo Doubs still in the positive, think of how much more productive the offense would have been as opposed to Dontavion Wicks. Now, Wicks is having a good camp other than the calf injury, obviously. And we talk about you can't make the club in the tub. Listen, there's no chance that Dontavion Wicks does not make this roster, right? I'm not saying that at all. But this is what we mean by can't make the club in the tub. Malik Heath getting that extra look last night, and you see him once again, him showcasing those skills. Now, with that being said, maybe Malik Heath, where this receiver room's kind of loaded, maybe he's a trade candidate. I'm simply saying if it were me, I want that physicality. I want that blocking ability. I want that being able to play in a phone booth, the strong hands, the catch rate over expected to be utilized for the Packers this year. That's just me personally. So, again, Malik Heath, I think, is one to watch here in preseason. And guys, we got preseason football coming up. Let me pull up the calendar real quick. Preseason football, So it's next Saturday, 7 p.m. Man, it's going to be exciting. I cannot wait, dude. It's going to be I can't wait to get on here the next day and just break down all of the details of what happened there in that. So let's move it along here. 11-on-11 start. So defense strong, right? You got defensive tackle Kenny Clark stopped Josh Jacobs near the line of scrimmage, all right? Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper stopped the end around by Matthew Golden for a loss, and Clark stopped Jacobs again. Kenny Clark showed up family night, boys and girls. And again, I've been as hard on Kenny Clark as anyone on this particular show, probably of anyone who covers the Packers, to be honest with you. I didn't like us giving him that contract extension a couple years ago personally. Last year, if you just looked at the stat column, you go, boy, Kenny played horrible. When you turn on the tape, you've seen a lot of touch spy. And you guys remember me telling you I really wanted to see him in a 3-tech in a base 4-3. Throw TJ Slayton in the 1 in the nickel 2-4 or 4-2-5, and then Kenny Clark in the 3. And when you rotate, Devontae Wyatt comes in. Don't be afraid to put Devontae Wyatt in a 1-tech. Let Kenny eat, right? For whatever reason, they really like to play Kenny, not always, but most of the time in that 1-tech or shade, which basically says you're the nose tackle. The reason that matters is you're forcing him to take on a double team. Typically, it's the center and the guard. When you put somebody in a 1-tech, which a 1-tech, guys, really, really simple, is you're lining up in between the guard and the center. So imagine with this, I can't put my cursor on the screen for you guys here with this. It's just a screen grab overlay. But notice, look at the center. Look at that one, the number 1 there in the gap on the defensive side, right? So when you're playing that 1-tech, on the opposite side, you got a 3. So you've got your 3-tech in between the guard and the tackle, right? And then you've got the 1-tech in between the center and the guard. And then you got another 5-7 or wide 9 on the opposite side, 5-7 or wide 9 on the other end. What you're forcing is the tackles to block 1-on-1. And you're basically forcing the guard and the center to double team block the 1-tech. So you're thinking, Clayton, why don't you like Kenny in that spot? I don't like Kenny in that spot because I want him in a 1-on-1 situation on the outside shoulder of the guard in a 3-tech so he can get to the quarterback, right? Well, lo and behold, they play him there predominantly in the 1-tech all year long, and we've seen him touch spine. That's why it's important you need to watch the tape. You go to the tape and you see, man, he's touched spine a lot. Touch spy is real simple. You engage with the blockers, but you're not trying to get to the quarterback. You're kind of maybe spending a quarter of your energy forcing the pocket a little bit, but you got eyes on the quarterback and you're keying on the run before the pass. You're kind of just playing it safe. It's almost like what it sounds like. You touch the offensive lineman and you're spying the QB. So when you see Kenny do that week in and week out, and we kept calling it out on Chalk Talk, it made you wonder, why did we do that? And my mind went to, well, they know they're going to try to double team him anyway. Why not just handicap him right off the bat and let Devontae Wyatt go eat, which he did until he hurt his ankle. Well, we find out at the end of the year, Kenny Clark was injured. That makes sense. So you go, Kenny can't pin his ears back and rush the passer because of the foot injury, the toe injury, right? He's going to play through it, but he's not nearly as effective as he could be. Why not us go ahead and make sure we win the hat count by putting him in the 1-tech, and he can use his instincts to play the spy and help cover against the run and let Devontae Wyatt get up the quarterback. That's what happened. I say all that, and it's long-winded to get to what I wanted to point out here, which is simply it looks like Kenny's flashing right now in camp. So he's fully healthy. We know that. What if this is the year that we use him in a little bit different role? And, maybe offenses come out, they watch the tape and go, yeah, they like to do a lot of touch spy with Kenny with that 97. So let's make sure we fan our protection towards 95, Devontae Wyatt, because he's just going to kind of spy the QB. And then what if they start pinning his ears back and he gets after the quarterback and you do a little touch spying with Devontae Wyatt from time to time? You could see how I think this type of mindset, this type of approach is exactly what Jeff Hafley was talking about in his presser the other day. In that press conference, he said, we've already got our install done and we've already got adjustments ready. Meaning if teams key in on what they're doing early, maybe it's a touch spy aspect. It's multifaceted, all 3 levels, right? The defensive front, the second level there with the stack backer look, and then of course your safeties and your corners if they're playing off. That type of stuff right there, he's ready. If they attack Kenny a different way, let's adjust. That's just one example of what I think he meant. buy that, if that makes sense.